You know the name Doug Poppa?
Yes, I do. God bless Doug Poppa, an honest cop.
I was elated, of course, but then as he testified, I was somewhat concerned for him because I knew that they were probably going to crucify that man.
The top cop who put his badge on the line for justice.
One man who confronted truth and consequences.
Good afternoon from Las Vegas, Nevada, and welcome to Truth and Consequences with Doug Poppa, where the truth is never silenced, episode 57 for Wednesday, July 7th, 2021. This is another exclusive investigative news story. According to federal government records, convicted felon and longtime Las Vegas pimp Shane Valentine applied for and received a Paycheck Protection Program loan from the Small Business Administration in the amount of $19,670. The problem is, my investigation could not locate any business in Las Vegas, Nevada that is owned by Shane Valentine. As you know from my previous reporting, Shane Valentine was a prime suspect in the now almost 5-year unsolved 2016 double homicide of Sidney Land and Nehemiah Kaufman, whose bodies were discovered in their southwest Las Vegas apartment on October 27, 2016, both shot in the head. The following year, October 2017, then Las Vegas Metro Police Homicide Bureau Lieutenant Dan McGrath told the media that Valentine was no longer a suspect or person of interest in the case. A year later, in November of 2018, Las Vegas Homicide Bureau Lieutenant Ray Spencer told the media that Shane Valentine was still a suspect and a person of interest in the case. In 2020, Las Vegas Metro Police stated Shane Valentine was once again not a suspect or a person of interest in the murders of Sidney Land and Nehemiah Kaufman. The police have never stated how they cleared the off-again, on-again, off-again suspect, Shane Valentine, of the murders. Last year, Connie Land, Sidney's mother, received information that the daughter of one of the homicide detectives investigating the murders once had a personal relationship with Shane Valentine. That detective was not removed from the case. As I previously reported, Valentine, who was already a prior convicted felon, threatened to kill Nehemiah Kaufman, Sidney Land, and Frankie Zappia in the early morning hours of October 8, 2016, in the parking garage of the Red Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Later that morning, October 8, 2016, Shane Valentine shot into the home of Nehemiah Kaufman's mother, at the same time threatening the lives of Kaufman, his mother, and Sidney Land, according to text message communications that I obtained in 2019. Less than 3 weeks later, after the murders of Sidney Land and Nehemiah Kaufman, Valentine fled to California and turned off his cellular telephone. Valentine was arrested by California police after Las Vegas Metro Police homicide detectives obtained a warrant for Valentine after the murders for shooting into the occupied residence of Nehemiah Kaufman's mother on October 8, 2016. Valentine was subsequently convicted of shooting into an occupied dwelling and was incarcerated in Nevada State Prison. As I said, the murders of Sidney Land and Nehemiah Kaufman remain unsolved. If you recall, then Las Vegas Justice Court Judge Melanie Andrus Tobiasen told me during an interview in May 2018 that the police had all the evidence that showed Shane Valentine, Dominique Thompson, another pimp, and Frankie Zappia, a convicted prostitute and the daughter of a retired Las Vegas Metro police officer, were involved in the murders, and that there is a cover-up in the case, that the police probably destroyed evidence, and Shane Valentine was, quote, protected. Those allegations made by now former Judge Melanie Andrus Tobiasen. Now, moving forward to the instant case, Shane Valentine and his PPP loan. According to sources close to Valentine, he is once again involved in sex trafficking, and from what I was told, he was recently in the possession of a firearm, a federal offense, since he is a convicted felon. Word on the street is that Valentine was bragging that he had obtained fraudulent PPP loans and that someone in his family was involved in the operation. According to public federal documents of the Small Business Administration, the SBA, Shane Valentine is a sole proprietorship located in Las Vegas, Nevada, that received a coronavirus-related PPP loan from the SBA in the amount of $19,670, and the loan was approved on April 5, 2021, and was dispersed by the lender, Capital Plus Financial, LLC, to Valentine. On the PPP loan application, Shane Valentine reported intending to use the proceeds of the PPP loan for the following expenses: payroll in the amount of $19,668 and utilities $1. Apparently, utility bills in Las Vegas have declined exponentially. The loan document indicates the business as a sole proprietorship and the industry as other clothing stores. My investigation confirmed that the address listed on the loan application is the residence of Valentine's grandmother. I found no business license for Shane Valentine in Clark County, Nevada, or in the city of Las Vegas. Keep in mind that Shane Valentine was incarcerated in Nevada State Prison when the COVID-19 crisis started. Valentine was released from prison on parole on September 16th of 2020. 3 days later, on September 19, 2020, Valentine was arrested by the Las Vegas Metro Police for driving under the influence of alcohol and/or controlled substance, first offense, and for violation of the conditions of his parole. Valentine was held in the Clark County Detention Center until being transferred back to state prison. Valentine was released from prison in December of 2020, no longer under state supervision. According to Las Vegas Justice Court records, on March 4, 2021, Valentine was granted a public defender on his DUI charge because Valentine was identified as indigent. On June 17, 2021, Valentine was a no-show for his bench trial. His public defender told Las Vegas Justice Court Judge Susan Balcom that he had no contact with Valentine, and that Judge Balcom granted his motion for a continuance. New trial set for October 7, 2021. Why wasn't a bench warrant issued for Valentine, I would ask. Now, as you know, nothing I have ever investigated is simple. It always ends up being complicated and/or convoluted. This is no exception. According to public records, on April 6, 2021, one day after Shane Valentine's loan was approved, the same lender that dispersed Valentine's funds, Capital Plus Financial, LLC, a Texas-based company, approved a $20,830 PPP loan for a Las Vegas woman named Sydney Land. On the PPP application, Sydney Land reported intending to use the proceeds of the PPP loan for the following expenses: payroll in the amount of $20,830. The business listed as a sole proprietorship is a beauty salon. Upon investigation, I could find no business licenses for a beauty salon in the Las Vegas area under the name and/or owned by a Sydney Land, and/or a Nevada cosmetology license under the name Sydney Land. Strangely enough, there is another woman in Las Vegas named Sydney Land. Same name and about the same age that the murdered Sydney Land would be today. The murdered Sydney Land was white. The Sydney Land who the loan was dispersed to is black. Contact was made with her, and she denied any knowledge of a PP loan under her name. The address listed on the loan application was the Las Vegas address of her boyfriend's apartment. He denied any knowledge of the loan when I spoke with him. Just a coincidence? Well, I don't believe in coincidences, and they said they never got a loan. So where did the money go? My investigation uncovered several other PPP loans in the vicinity of Las Vegas that appear to be questionable, the names associated with persons known to Shane Valentine, to include a $20,000 loan that was approved to another person on April 5, 2021 by the same lender in the Valentine and Land loans. That loan also is for a business that does not exist. The total of all the loans combined is well over $100,000. My investigation is still ongoing into other loans. I forward my results thus far to the Office of the Inspector General for the Small Business Administration, which is responsible for conducting investigations targeting PPP loan fraud. Shane Valentine has an extensive criminal history going back over 10 years for numerous crimes, including robbery, burglary, home invasion, and assault with a deadly weapon. Despite the fact that Valentine has been pimping out the daughters of Las Vegas residents for years, including reportedly the daughters of judges and cops, Valentine has never been arrested for pandering/sex trafficking by the Las Vegas Metro Police. Why is that? Valentine even pimped out the daughter of reputed Bonanno crime family soldier. Before he was murdered, Nehemiah Kaufman told Valentine that he was a snitch. That is confirmed in text messages that I have and previously reported on. The 2016 unsolved double homicide of Sidney Land and Nehemiah Kaufman should have been solved within days of the murders. That's it for this episode, folks. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel of Truth and Consequences with Doug Poppa, audio podcast of each episode, available on Anchor, Spotify, and other platforms. Thanks for listening.